Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Here we are, yeah, oh yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Oh, it could be morning. I don't even know when the fuck you're listening. Good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Or good night.
Good night. Good day. Good. Welcome to Kill Me Now. I am Judy Gold, your host. And I am really excited about our guest today because I have known him for, how many years do you think we've known each other? 30?
25 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classy. Yeah, I think you're classy. Very funny. Excellent writer, like hilarious. Loyal.
Like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Short?
Just great. And
Short?
always and very short and well dressed.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Tom Cotter is here, everyone.
Tom Cotter. Honored to be
Tom,
here.
I love you. I'm just,
Love you back.
the show is called Kill Me Now, and I usually start with a moment that I had, that is a Kill Me Now moment. And I'm just going to tell you that last week I got on the subway. I carry a backpack. Okay. And I got on and I was standing there and someone this woman banged my backpack, hit me by hitting my backpack.
Yeah.
And I said,
That's assault.
what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, your backpack is... And then this woman sitting down who wasn't even part of it. I was standing and I hit the woman by mistake.
Insert herself
she
into
goes,
this.
they have announcements for that and you can't do that and that's a... And I was like, and I go... Calm the fuck down. Calm down. Seriously. So then I turned to the woman and I said, I'm very sorry for hitting you with my backpack. I didn't even realize. And she's like, oh, okay. But I was all right, she shouldn't have hit me. But that's something I probably would do if it was a guy.
Well, were you wearing headphones? Might have she said, maybe if she said, excuse me, and you just didn't hear it.
I don't think, I might have had my AirPods in. I always have my AirPods in because I don't want to talk to people in my neighborhood when I'm walking down the street. Yeah. But I'm usually either listening to the news or not listening to anything because I want to hear what the fuck's going on. But I just don't want to talk to anyone. Anyway, but it was just the woman sitting down who just couldn't wait to fucking insert herself into this.
Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hate people.
But you diffused it by saying, I'm very sorry that I hit you with
and
my
then
backpack,
I just
and it all
told
went
her
away.
to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
It's none of her business. And then the woman who was who hit me with the thing was talking to a woman behind her. I'm sure they were talking about what a cunt I was. And then she was like, oh, okay.
Wow. Kindness.
But I always I get recognized, not everywhere, but in New York I get recognized a lot. And it's I have to be nice to everyone because then it's on video. Or one time, okay, my manager in California, this is in the 90s, before social media, I went to get gas and I have a short fuse. And something happened with the thing and I was like, fuck, god damn this fucking game, and a few hours later, I get a call from my manager. Judy, were you cursing at a gas station and yelling at the gas tank? I said, probably. Yeah, well, this agent was there, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, my God.
And that was before social media.
Yeah, before social media. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, Tom Cotter, you're amazing. So
You're amazing.
No, you are. You grew up in Providence, East Providence, Rhode Island, where my son...
The east side of Providence. East Providence is unpleasant. But
Okay, the east side of
yeah,
Providence.
yeah.
And I was just there this weekend because my son had a basketball tournament at Providence College.
PC.
Yeah, PC. And
The other Friars, by the way.
yes. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because they had the Friars thing on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I'm a member of the Friars Club. Anyway, sorry.
No, that was appropriate. You hit
Yeah, Friars Club.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
So you grew up and you're the youngest of 6.
Yeah, 2 miscarriages. We don't count those. So my mom was very pregnant.
Right.
Often. Yeah.
Is that a Catholic thing? Or?
It is. Yeah, well, she was Protestant, but
Really? But
yeah.
your father was Catholic?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, wasn't she like, I'm not Catholic. I don't need to fucking have 25 kids?
No. And, we chased every one of us back to an event away from the house. They never conceived in our home.
Wow.
I was a Brown University reunion, but 3 of my
Right.
siblings were medical conventions because that's the only
Yeah.
time they got it on, apparently. And then 2 others were like some wedding they went to and something
Right.
else. But yeah,
So
weird.
your father, Walter,
Well done.
thank you. Walter,
Cornelius Cotter.
yeah, Walter C. Cotter was a World War II Navy veteran.
Yes.
And-
Is. He's still 95.
Well,
Yeah.
was a, meant he was.
Gotcha.
Is, and a neurosurgeon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, Tom.
It's a lot of pressure.
And wait, are they all sisters or there's
No.
another guy?
We're the Brady Bunch. 3 boys, 3 girls.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
Bobby in that scenario.
You're
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Is it 1 Is it
No,
like
it's
Peter?
female, male.
Wait,
female,
do
female.
it by the. So it's
Okay.
It's
Jean.
Marcia,
Okay, Marcia.
also
Then,
known as.
Jean.
Yeah.
Then it's Greg would be
Yeah,
my brother
Greg.
David.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 sisters, so it's Jan and Cindy.
Right.
Which are Karen and Betsy.
Right.
And then Peter is Stephen.
Right.
And then Bobby is myself.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and there
did-
is no Alice. We didn't have
Right,
a maid.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, your mother had to do all that.
she did a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 fucking kids.
Damn right,
That's like all right.
We did have nannies because 6 kids is a lot.
Yeah,
my
that's a
mom
lot.
ran my dad's office.
Yeah,
so
that's
she
right.
was
His
around, yeah.
medical. So, what's the age difference between you and the?
Next oldest is 4 years.
No. Oh, really? So you were a
years.
mistake.
Oh, I was clearly a mistake.
And then how old's the oldest?
The oldest is 10 years older than me, my sister Jean.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a brother in his 60s.
Really?
Yeah, and a sister in her 60s. Wait, what am I? 56.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
My
Older siblings like that.
No, it's not, because when they're in their 60s, it means I'm going to be in my 60s.
Are you the youngest?
Yeah.
So am I. All
Don't you
comics.
think comics are-
the
all
youngest.
comics are the
My
youngest?
wife is the youngest. They're all
And also, I feel like the oldest, they're too fucking bossy and serious to, you know what I mean?
They're the most anal. They're the
Right.
most driven. They're most.
I'm
yeah.
in a my girlfriend, Elisa, is an oldest and thinks she fucking knows everything. And and she's so into birth order. Like, all right, anyway, but so here you are, you're growing up in
Providence.
in Providence. Your father went to Brown. Did your mother go to college?
She went to Pembroke, which became part of Brown.
Right.
It's like Harvard, Radcliffe,
Right.
Brown, Pembroke. Yeah.
And your sisters, I understand, were wicked smart.
Yeah. I know who your source is.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
And like, what is it like to be the youngest of fucking 6 kids and your father's did everyone love your father?
Yeah, my dad still does.
Right.
I mean, he's still around. My mom died when she was 52, so she
Oh,
died
that's
real early.
horrible.
Yeah, so, I was in 8th grade, and that was a
Oh God, I can't.
gut punch. But he remarried a woman 25 years his junior, and now we're thrilled about that because she's only in her early 70s.
And she
he's
can take
95.
care of
Yeah,
him.
and she does, and she's a nurse, and that's how they met in
Okay.
the operating room. But yeah, my dad was just a workaholic. He was never around. But provided for us. 'Cause
Right.
6 kids. The public schools in Providence were atrocious.
They
So,
were?
Yeah.
Oh, you went to Moses Brown School.
Well done. Someone has done her due
That's
diligence.
correct, bitch. Yes, which was a Quaker school.
Quaker school, but mostly Jewish.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. And Tom rang the bell on that one.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Jews like the Quaker schools.
Yeah.
Wait, so did your brothers and sisters go to?
They went. My brother Dave went to Admiral Farragut Military Academy because he was a bad kid, so he was shipped off to military school. My brother Steve went to my rival school, which was Providence Country Day School.
Right.
And all three of my sisters and my mom went to the Lincoln School for Girls.
Right.
Which is my sister's school.
And how did you get to Moses Brown?
I went to Catholic school for a couple of years, and then it was time.
So you're youngest of six,
Yes.
And you're funny and
Allegedly.
Right. Were they funny or were you the identified? Like, I'm the identified patient in my family. Like, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm like, me? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, like, I'm the normal one.
Maybe they're responsible for your abnormalness because of the bullying and the emotional torture.
Oh, what did your brother and sister? I'll tell you what mine did
everything.
to me.
I was literally, my head was in a toilet while it was being flushed. I was introduced to the bidet by telling it was a fountain. Put your head close to it.
Oh, you had a bidet. Wow.
No. Well, it was at a hotel we were at.
Got
and,
you.
My brother pressed the button and the water inserted. And
did you cry and run to your mother?
Often, yeah. And after a while, she'd be like, "Suck it up, take it. You know, you're a little pussy. You gotta get your ass kicked for a while." And then,
well, I had a lot of emotional torture, except like they would lock me in the basement. Like, they'd be like, let's go downstairs and play ping pong. And I'd be like, okay, we'll meet you down there. And then they'd lock the door and turn out the light.
That's imprisonment.
Yeah. And then
McCain went through that.
Yeah, I would do that. They would put the pillow over my head. They told me I could join their club. They used to fake they had a club where they went to like amusement parks. So Sunday morning we'd be at breakfast and they'd be like, oh my God, that was so fun. And I was like, what? And they told me they had this club where at night when everyone was asleep, they got to go to the amusement park. And I was like, I want to be in the club. They're like, okay, well,
Then they hazed you.
Yeah, no, we have to put, my sister's going to kill me for this. We have to put the, in order to get in, we put the pillow over your head for 3 minutes and you can't scream. And of course, like after like 15 seconds, I'm like, get it off! All right. And then the last one that I loved was my parents would always go out for New Year's Eve and leave us all this candy and blah, 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 blah. So my brother and sister and I are sitting there and all of a sudden, I guess about 10 o'clock or so, I don't even know what time it was, but all of a sudden they're like, Happy New Year! Woo! And they're like, screaming and the noisemakers going off. And I'm like, what happened to the balls drop? They're not doing it this year. Bye. And they make me go to sleep. And then at midnight, I hear them screaming and yelling.
So they lied to you. Yeah.
Yeah. It was constant.
My candy thing, my quick candy thing was Halloween. I would go out and work like a migrant worker. You know, I would collect all around and then as soon as I came home, they would candy jack the hell out of me, literally leaving me with crap, candy corn, everything. Right. All the good stuff, Hershey's with almonds, gone. You know, Nestle's Crunch, gone. All the good stuff that I had worked so hard for because they were too cool to go trick-or-treating.
Right. But they wanted the candy. Yeah.
It's brutal.
So you're at this school. Are you popular? Are you a popular kid or like in grammar school? Do you remember grammar school? I don't know.
Yeah, I hung out with a bunch of jocks. We were kind of in that school. It was a good thing because they kept me out of trouble. And otherwise, I would have followed my older brother to Admiral Farragut Military Academy, which I did not.
What does he do now?
He's a colonel. So
no way.
Yeah. He teaches at Fort Leavenworth General Staff College. So he's my dad's favorite. And I tell jokes in front of drunks about my crotch in basements. So
wait, he's your father's favorite?
Oh, yeah,
he was the bad kid.
But he's the colonel now. My dad was a military guy.
He
really turned his life around in military school.
Okay, great. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Now, your mother dies. You're in 8th grade. You're 13, 12?
14.
14. Oh, that's right.
I stayed back to get into Moses Brown.
You had to. I know, because my son is now a junior in high school, and he would have been a senior had he stayed at his high school here, but he went to private school to go play basketball.
And he's going to have a better diploma and a better life.
So, how did she die?
Heart attack.
So it was sudden?
She had a stroke the summer before. So
you're 13?
Yeah. She had a stroke that summer and didn't tell anybody. My dad noticed a palsy. It wasn't a massive stroke. And tricked her to go into the hospital, said, I need some medical charts.
Right.
You bring them to the hospital. And it was an intervention. As soon as she walked to the door, there was her suitcase. And they said, we're admitting you. Clearly, you've had some issues. And so they... she was okay for a while, for 6 months. And then we were skiing in New Hampshire and came home and there was an ambulance in the driveway. And that sucked hard. And then,
oh, my God. I can't even imagine.
Long drive back to Providence that night.
Do you hate skiing now?
No, love skiing.
What does that feel like? I mean, you're so young. Like,
it was brutal.
Yeah.
Because I was mama's boy. You know,
my oldest, of course, the
oldest
youngest.
sister and the youngest boy were the two.
Right.
Because she protected me from
the 5
of
course, because you were her little baby.
Yeah, and we hung out together because everybody was too cool to hang out. So she'd go up to the ski house on weekends, and all the other siblings had plans, and I didn't. So I would go
you would
with
hang
her,
out with her.
So it was our little
what do you remember most about her? Is this horrible that I'm talking about this? I mean, it makes you who you are.
Later on, you realize that she was an alcoholic. I realized because at night she would sit by the phone drinking tall gin and tonics, smoking, waiting. You know, this is before an answering service. So she was my dad's answering service. My dad was on call at 7 hospitals, so every single night he was away. And she would have to field the phone calls and do all that stuff. And later in the night, those phone calls were slurred, perhaps a little bit. But she still got up every morning and got everyone breakfast, got us off to school, and ran my dad's office. And she was very high functioning in that realm.
Do you think she was unhappy because she was...
I think she was overwhelmed at times.
Right.
I think that made her drink a lot. But her family was kind of screwed up. Her brother died of cancer young. I have no surviving relatives on
no
that side
fucking
of the
way.
None.
Horrible.
None. Yeah.
Where did she grow up?
Providence.
Oh, so she was...
Yeah, she was...
That's awful. So you're 14 and your gut is like, did you go back to school right away? Did you get counseling? Like what?
I took a couple of days off. I was forced to get counseling, which I don't think helped me at all.
Really?
At the time. Yeah. It was embarrassing because I was pulled out of classes to go do it, you know.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. And it was like, Tom.
Oh, Tom's going to talk about his mother's death.
Yeah. Exactly.
So were people nicer to you? I mean, like...
You remember that. You remember what people... I remember Mr. Young walking behind me in biology class and just, patting me on the shoulder as he was in the middle of a speech, and he had never made physical contact with me before. So that little things like that, notes you get from people that you don't expect you're going to get, and then just the kindness of people bringing food to your house for 2 weeks after the event and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I remember, I think, I kind of remember how people acted during the death of my parents, but I feel like there's...
Your mom died not too...
No,
ago, right?
3.5 years ago. My father died when I was in my 20s, but I feel like, a lot of people don't know how to behave.
I don't know how to behave.
Really?
I get freaked out. I don't know how to,
Oh, I figured you'd be great at it.
No, I run away and hide. I send, whatever flowers or whatever, but then I never know just what to say. I fear
it's just being
saying
there.
the wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And having been through it, you should know better, but I don't. I'm a pussy.
But then like if you say, "Oh, my mom died when I was 14," they're like, "Oh, fuck, I'm not supposed to be upset." You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like
it was a long time ago.
Right.
I'm over
I know. So what was it like on Mother's Day at school and that kind of shit? Like I always think about, because my kids have no father.
I just realized that I cut myself shaving and I've had
I know. I saw it.
And
I was like,
nobody said anything?
No, I didn't say that.
So I was going to walk around the city all day.
I thought, maybe it's a new cut.
A good friend would call you when your mother died and would tell you when you had tissue
I thought you had it on there on purpose.
Is it still bleeding? Still bleeding?
No, I mean, maybe.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
I didn't know. I thought you had it on there on purpose.
All right. Okay. All right.
whatever.
Sorry.
Taking a picture of that.
Okay.
Was it hard for you, like Mother's Day and all that shit?
Yeah, all that sucks. And my kids will never know their grandmother, which is very sad because and she died at 14, so she never saw me graduate high school, college, get married, have kids, all those things that are
fucked up.
Yeah, so that's a drag. But
how soon after she died did your father get remarried?
Pretty soon.
Yeah, because he's a
year,
guy.
Yeah, a year and a half later.
Do you think he was having an affair?
I should probably not be talking about this on this microphone, but yes, my suspicion is that, and I don't have any documentation to prove this, but I think a lot of the doctors on the east side of Providence.
Oh, please! I think a lot of the doctors, period.
Yeah.
And I think like rabbis.
Maybe.
I always think, come into the doctors.
Yeah.
But I am at like this. I mean, I think most men cheat.
I don't think. See, I don't know if most men cheat, but I think we're not. I think we're not hardwired to be faithful. I think
I don't think you would ever cheat.
To be she's Lebanese. She would blow me up. Literally, she would assassinate me. So I think we're hardwired to spread our seed and procreate and do all that stuff. So I don't think it's natural to be in a relationship where thank God I'm on Propecia now because that made my sex drive go away.
Really?
So, yeah, it really
does it work, the Propecia?
It might be. I have the flesh yarmulke here.
Oh yeah.
But the rest of my head is.
By the way, Tom has to fucking point to the bell because I'm so out of it today with the bell. Because you're not Jewish.
I love the fact that you hit that whenever.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So you go through high school. Are you a jock? Or kind
of at the time.
Okay, so you have like a father who is not there, and then this woman moves into your house, right?
And she did. She did move into our house. Yeah.
And did you? So you're what? 16? 15 and a half?
Yeah, 15 and a half.
And did you went to the wedding, I assume?
Yeah.
And was everyone like fake happy, or were they I know this is
ill, and I know people think it's psychosomatic, but I really had like a flu thing, so I was miserable the whole time at that. But she's become what a great grandmother she's been to my children and step grandmother, whatever, and great to everybody.
Did she have any kids?
Yeah, it turns out later she gave a kid up when she was in nursing school, and the girl finally found her. Years later, got the phone call. That comics always fear.
Right.
And now
male comics.
They are thick as thieves. I mean, they are just. They're as
really.
Close as
where does she live?
She grew up in Providence.
Oh my God, her fucking mother's right down the street.
This is how small Rhode Island is.
Yeah.
My brother used to go to parties for his now wife, his girlfriend at the time, his family, and there was a girl there, and they would always look at her and say, "Wow, she is the spitting image of Mary Lynn, my stepmother." Right. Even the way her hair, the way she held her cigarette, the way she gesticulated, all those things. And years later, when Mary Lynn called us all to tell us all that she had found her long-lost daughter, my brother said, "Is her name Lisa?" Which it is. And she said, "Yeah, how did you know?" And that's how small Rhode Island is.
That is fucking amazing.
And she was part of the real estate company that sold our house eventually.
No way.
She knew about our house before. It was
that's a script.
It really is. Her husband was not only in my Boy Scout troop, in my patrol, in Tiger Patrol, and so we shared a camp, a tent.
No way.
Yeah, and she married him later. That's how small Rhode Island is.
Wow.
Really small. Everybody knows everybody.
That's amazing.
Creepy, almost.
So, she moves in. How do you act towards her? Was she gentle?
I'm a little bit of a douche. Yeah. I'm a little bit of a teenage, testosterone is starting to flow douche.
Right.
And they handled it very well. They sent me off to summer school that summer.
Why did they send you to camp like the Jews?
I did go to Boy Scout camp before that, but then when my mom died, the one bonus of my mom dying is I had to get the hell out of Boy Scouts. So because that was my mom's thing. So I got out of that and I had to go. They allegedly listened into a phone call where I said, and I deny this to this day, that there was a gun at a party I was going to, and so they wanted to get me out of town for the summer, so they sent me to Ithaca College for a summer program, the Maxwell Vacation School, and it was all Long Island people. And we had a great, summer, but that was just her getting me the hell out of the way. And I don't blame her. I was a douche. I was being, combative and everything else. So it was good.
But was she nice and loving?
It was tough for her. She's walking into 6 kids. I mean, that's a huge
Was
thing.
anyone else cunty to her?
Yes. Yeah. but we've all overcome that and accepted her, and she's wonderful, and she's definitely part of the family. And
what's her name?
Mary Lynn.
Mary Lynn.
Mary Lynn Cotter.
Not Jewish.
Mary Lynn McGinnis. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you graduate high school. Mm-hmm. What were you on sports teams in high school, or
when you're my height, you wrestle or ride a horse.
Right.
We didn't have a horse, so I was captain of my wrestling team.
Really?
But at a Quaker school where they're all about pacifism. So
Right.
let's pump the brakes on the cockiness there.
Are your ears normal?
I have cauliflower ear in this ear, actually.
Oh, you do?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. And my son now wrestles. One. The other two won't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But yes, and I played lacrosse. Those are my two big sports.
Okay.
And fall, you ran cross country to get in shape for wrestling.
Right.
And then that was my,
Did you date? You did?
Yeah. Well, when you're the youngest,
Yes.
you learn all the tricks of the trade from your older siblings.
And they don't. No one pays attention to you anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you go to Denison College, where Steve Carell went, didn't he?
2 years before me. Graduated 2 years.
Really?
84. I'm the class of 86. And has he ever
Steve
put
Carell
me in
is my
anything?
age.
Anything? No, he has not. Nothing.
You know, I have friends in the business. Don't you have friends who are like, you're my best friend and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you've known them for like 30 plus years and never can, but don't.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck
I'm not
is
asking
that?
you to kick the door open.
Right.
I'm just asking you to turn the knob a little bit.
Right,
Leave it a crack.
right.
Let me see what I can do.
Were you friends
Nothing.
with Steve?
No, no one knew who
right.
the hell he was. He was a wallflower. He blossomed outside of college at Second City in Chicago.
Right.
But when he was at Denison, there was one improv group, and we would go and watch them, and he never stood out. He was kind
Wow.
of, he never.
And look at him now.
$20 million a movie. Yeah.
He does way too many movies.
He does a lot.
Yeah,
My wife watched one last night, A Good Boy or whatever.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
Is it good?
We get the screener too.
Yeah.
And she watched it last night.
Did she like it?
She said it was very depressing.
Yeah, I can't
the kid
watch
looks
it.
like one of our sons.
Oh,
like
forget
Harry.
it.
So yeah, she was definitely, kids get drugs. It's
so
horrible.
what did you major in college?
Political science.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Well, it would be if I used it for my...
Right, but it's good. You have a knowledge of politics.
Allegedly,
okay.
yeah.
And then you were in a frat. Which frat?
Alpha Tau Omega.
What's
ATO.
that? What's that made up of?
We were, you know, kind of... We weren't Animal House, but we weren't the nerdy frat either. We were somewhere in between.
Okay. I mean, if Henry calls, he's Mr. fucking frat.
What's his house?
He's in Sammy.
Sigma
Alpha Mu. Yeah.
Nice. Were you in a sorority?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. Well, see, that's a stereotype. You don't know.
Look at me. I'm a big dyke. I was a music major.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At what institution?
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You were Scarlet Knight.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about
Yeah.
you, Judy. Wow.
And
Okay.
I'm so not girly.
Okay.
I should have been in a frat actually. No. Anyway, so
We would have had you.
And you're still really close friends with your frat brother.
I am. Yeah. I've been very lucky in that regard. The house was thrown off campus a couple years after I graduated, but we still do a lot of stuff. Next week, or 2 weeks from now, is our big ski trip. And then we do a big canoe trip in the summer.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. At a certain point, though, you know, like people say, you going on your little gay canoe trip? And it's like, no, we're just a bunch of dudes going out there, you know, smoking
Are any gays in your frat?
Oh, yeah, a lot. But none,
Really?
none on the actual canoe trip or ski trip.
Would you care if a gay came?
No.
So,
I mean, there were guys there that, I mean, I don't have the greatest gaydar in the world, but, you know, 1 out of 10, isn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So clearly, I mean, there were guys that you knew.
Yeah. So my uncle just died.
Sorry.
Thank you. 93.
Wow.
93.
Those are good kids.
And he was, I mean, him and his frat brothers, best friends till the end of their lives. Yeah. It's amazing. Okay, so who else? Some other famous person went to Denison.
A lot.
Yeah.
Went to Denison. I could rattle them off.
Go.
Woody Hayes is the famous football coach.
Right.
Let's see. Michael Eisner. Yeah. Who is chairman and CEO of Disney for forever. Senator Lugar from Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Garner, the actress.
Right. Has a Jewish last name.
Yeah.
That's a half a one. Yeah.
That's a half bill. I don't know. There's a bunch of others that are, you know, that are.
Okay. And you graduate. And what do you do?
Although I still have the dream that I'm not going to graduate. Do you ever have that?
I have a dream to this day All right. So I had this one music history class.
Of course.
And
you're a music major.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so there were 3 major papers. You literally, we used a separate part of the library where we could go and, on these huge headphones and listen. So you'd have to listen to some huge piece of music and compare and contrast to a Beethoven piece or, whatever. And I didn't do one of the papers. And I got this is my senior year, and I got my report card and it said incomplete. And I went to the teacher and I said, listen, I really want to graduate. He's like, well, you didn't do one of the papers and I would have given you an A. But if you want me to just grade you, if you want to just do the paper, I'll give you an A. If not, I'm going to give you a B. And I was like, all right, give me a B.
That's easy.
But the fucking guilt. I still have dreams about that fucking I don't even know what it's about anymore, but I just feel like writing a fucking paper,
and
comparing
we're over
and contrasting.
30 years out of college, and you still have that. And I still had the wake up from a deep sleep that my whole family's on a plane coming to watch me graduate.
Right.
And I just found out that I never dropped a course and I owe a term paper or I missed the final exam.
What the fuck is that?
Tell you what that's how much pressure you were under at college, or at least I was.
Right.
I mean, I knew I couldn't. My dad was spending a lot of money on 6 kids' tuitions, and I couldn't drop the ball. And I was never an academic stud, but I was always
Who's the smartest kid in your family?
My sister Betsy. It's arguable, but my sister Betsy is a presidential scholar, and she got into Brown and Harvard. She ended up going to Brown because her boyfriend was in Providence, and then she went to grad school at University of Rhode Island again to be close to her boyfriend, but she got in everywhere she wanted. She's just ridiculous.
Did she marry the boyfriend?
She did. It didn't work out. She's now in her second marriage, and he was much older.
And she could have gone to fucking Harvard.
She could have gone anywhere she wanted.
That's great.
She met President Carter back when she.
Good job.
But my brother Dave is also an academic beast, and then there are a couple of us that are not. And
you got to be smart to do stand-up ass.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself. You can process and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
Okay, so you graduate Denison. Do you start doing stand-up immediately? Like, when do you start doing stand-up?
I started... I went to an open mic night in '89
in Boston,
in Providence.
Oh, in Providence,
club, a little club that no longer exists called Periwinkles.
I remember that club.
Periwinkles?
Yes.
That went the way of the dinosaur. But I hung out for like 5 open mic nights in a row. I was working at Nautilus Body Works, a gym at the time.
Wow.
And the 5th time I went, the host said, nobody comes to watch an open mic night 5 times in a row. Clearly you want to do this. You just don't have the sack yet. And I'm like, I don't. And he said, I'm going to tell the bouncer not to let you in next week unless you go up and do 5 minutes. So he really lit a fire under my ass, which was nice. And that was Charlie Hall. And so I ended up going up that next week. It went horribly wrong. And
Really? Your first time went bad?
Well,
usually it's
2 jokes
great.
hit. 10 of them failed. So I ran away, head in
But
the
you
sand.
still, those 2 jokes that hit, that's
all that was in my head. I can't remember the other jokes.
Right.
And then those were the
What were the
beginning.
2 jokes?
I was filthy. I want you to know I was filthy when I first started. One of them was I went to see my little niece's tap dance recital, and I got thrown out because apparently you're not supposed to stuff the dollar bills in the leotards. And that
That's
got me
funny.
in trouble.
That's funny.
I can't do it anymore. It's too creepy.
Right.
I'm too old. But at the time, it was all right.
Right.
And then the second one was about, because I had been a cop on Nantucket, and I talked about women renting mopeds and riding them down cobblestone streets, and it was a bosom jiggling joke. And both of those hit. The other ones failed. And then I ran away, kept those 2, wrote 10 new ones, came back. And then after I had licked my wounds for about 4 months after the first time, I came back.
Wow, it took you that long.
It took me that long, yeah.
You were a cop?
I was a cop on Nantucket, yeah.
Like in the summertime?
Yeah, summer cop. Yeah.
How'd you get that fucking job?
I was going to be a lawyer. That's why I was political science major.
Right.
We had these times off of college
Right.
where some people call them internships.
Right.
We called them January terms, and I followed around a famous lawyer and carried his briefcase and basically kissed his ass for that whole time. And then I clerked for a judge. And then I was a cop in Nantucket. And that whole thing was because I was going to be a lawyer.
Wait, so you become a cop, you have a uniform?
Yeah.
How many women did you fuck that summer?
Judy, I will tell you that Nantucket is filled with many more chambermaids, nannies, waitresses than they need. Those more than they need garbage men, firemen, cops. So the numbers, it was a numbers game. So even the most troglodyte trolls were getting constant play. And it was really before the AIDS outbreak. Really.
Right.
So it was, it was. Those were.
So
best
was
summers
it
of my
2
life.
in one night or 3 in one?
Not there. No.
What? Oh, not there? You're such an ass.
I am an ass.
Okay. So then you go back to Periwinkle's or you go back to another place?
I went to Periwinkle's the second time, and then I started doing it there. But then you realize when you grew up in Providence, you have to either go an hour north to Boston or 3 hours south to New York.
Right.
Because from Rhode Island, Al Ducharme, Scott LaRose, there were a few of us, Ed Regine. And so I chose to go north to Boston, got a place up there, started, and it was a great place to. I started with Louis C.K. and I started with Greg
I've
Fitzsimmons.
heard of him, and I've heard of him.
And there were Nick DiPaolo was before me,
Yes,
but Leary was before me.
Nick DiPaolo was my group.
Your class, as we call it. Yeah. And then after me was Dane Cook and Billy Burr and all those guys, and my wife, Carrie Louise. And so, so
what
it was a great
women
place.
were up there when you were Linda Smith?
Linda Smith was. A lot of them went to school there. Paula Poundstone swears she's a San Francisco person, which she is, but she went to school.
Yes,
so many of them went to school at Emerson or BU or whatever, and so that's where they started comedy.
Right.
So Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, was went to school. I believe in.
What
both. He was up
about
there
was Henriette up there or no? She was in San Francisco, but she used to
back
do...
to your question. Females. Julie Barr was big at the time. I think she does cruise ships now.
Right.
Lori Kilmartin.
Love her.
Yeah, she came to. I don't know if she ever really lived there, but she was very popular. And Boston was a tough nut to crack. So once you got in, you were in.
Yeah.
And she used to come up quite often. Who else? Maria Falzoni.
Oh yeah.
She was big at the time. God, I'm sure I'm offending people by not remembering some of them because I don't remember the guys.
I remember because I was in New York. I started in New York. I did my first set at 18 or 19 at Rutgers, and then I was working. I did a thing at Rutgers where I won this contest, and then Larry Amorose, Bill Sheft, and Adrian Tolsch are doing a show, and I got 5 minutes on the show, and all 3, baby, and then Adrian says, "Come in on a Monday night. I do the open mic," and of course I go, and I'm a sophomore in college, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna be on the tonight. I mean, I got there, Belzer. I remember Ronnie Shakes.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
like
you're young at that point.
I'm 19. I remember because Joy Behar was there, and her daughter was in high school, Eve, and she was the closest to my age. And I used to hang out with her in the corner, and talk to her while Joy went on stage because she'd bring her because she didn't have anyone to stay home with her. And I saw everyone, Brenner, Seinfeld, Larry David,
Robert
Essman.
Klein.
Robert, they had a band, that full band. Pat Benatar would come in.
I never got to experience that, but I heard so much about it.
Yeah, it was the most amazing place.
Yeah.
But I remember, and Wendy Liebman was in Boston too.
Oh yeah, she went to Leslie College.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Wellesley.
I thought it was Leslie. Wellesley is another school up there. It's cool.
Yeah,
she
went
great.
to Wellesley.
Oh, she may have gone to Wellesley. Whatever.
Brilliant.
She is brilliant. I love her.
Yeah.
And she's another one. Went to school there and started there, and she was big. We had the what was the big competition? So Johnny Walker comedy competition. And she was like, no one expected her to be one of the breakouts, but she was, and she beat a lot of the guys who walked on water up there, and it was hysterical to watch them freak out about that.
I remember being at Catch, and Lewis was. He was the bartender.
Yeah.
And I remember Louis Ferranda, and I remember when he started helping with the booking, doing the schedule. And I remember when Wendy Liebman came in, because she had won that contest, and she came in and he goes, Goldie, what? I mean, he's known me since I'm 19. Yeah. And he's like, watch her. Okay, this is funny. I'm like, we couldn't be more opposite. Anyway, but I remember she was so fucking funny. But I remember thinking, I wanted to go to Boston because I started in New York, and I always had to be fucking great every time I went on at Catch or the Strip, you know. And I started driving up there. I did Nick's. I lived in that fucking condo.
Not many people could, so that's a feather in your cap. Yeah. That was a tough nut to crack.
Yeah,
no one got into Boston. They had so many comics, they didn't need anybody.
Yeah, I know.
So if you made it in, that meant that you were anointed.
I loved it. I loved Nick's. I did that a lot. And then I did...
Comedy Connection?
Yeah. They're still there, right?
No.
Oh. And then what else did I do? What else?
Giggles is another one up there.
Oh, Kowloon's.
Kowloon, yep.
Yeah, I love that. The food was so good.
The cash Kowloon, they used to call it, because before they gave away tickets.
Right.
They had literally, I remember as a middle doing 6 shows in one night.
Yes.
Bouncing back and forth between the 2 shows, forgetting what material you had just done.
And be like, wait, Tom, oh no, your name's John.
And as a middle, you walk out of there with $800 or something.
And you're like,
Jesus, I have made it.
And then I drive home to New York because I wanted to sleep in my own bed. But so that was a very cool comedy scene.
Wendy's from Roslyn, New York.
Right, yes.
Yeah. So a lot of them are just transplants.
So you do Boston, and you meet Carrie Louise, your wife there, correct?
Yes, I did, yeah. Workplace romance.
Really?
Yeah.
So when did you guys meet?
We met, early on, and then she
was doing stand-up.
Yes, and my roommate liked her, had a crush on her.
Who was your roommate?
Chris McGuire, who is a writer now in LA.
Okay, yeah.
Great dude. And so
And you're only working Boston right now. Do you have another job, or?
Roger Paul had given me some road work, and stuff around there, and some other people had. But
he still gets me gigs.
He does for me as well.
Yeah.
I love Roger. So still based in New York. I mean, in Boston, but
Judy,
doing the
Roger.
road.
Hey, Judy, it's Roger. How you doing? How you doing, Tom? I got a gig for you. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
And his wife wore a wedding gown on stage.
Oh my God, Claudia Sherman.
I remember that.
I still tell people that. She wore this.
That's commitment.
I know. She got married, and she was like, I paid so much money for this, and I'm going to wear it. And she would wear it to every gig until by the end it was fucking filthy and torn. It was horrible. I'm like, you can't do it anymore.
No, but it was a great gimmick.
Yeah.
I was doing Rogan had started up there, and he was already kind of getting big, and so he would take me to open for him when he did Upstate New York and some other stuff like that.
Who were the biggest guys? I remember. What's his name with the thick eyebrows?
Well, there was Sweeney, Gavin.
Yes, Gavin. Yeah, Sweeney.
Kenny Rogerson.
Yeah. Not Jewish, but just funny.
Kevin Knox. Teddy Bergeron might be the guy.
Oh,
you're thinking of.
yeah.
And he had one of the best sets ever on the Tonight Show, and then just career assassination after that. But so a lot of big guns up there, and it was the rock and roll of the 80s, and I missed it, unfortunately. I came in at the end.
I know.
But it was, and the people would say to me, Judy, they'd say, I feel bad for you. There's only 3 open mic nights this week. And I'd be like, yeah, that's too bad, you know. But now there's none. These kids have to do these bringer shows.
It's unbelievable.
That would have been a deal breaker for me, probably. So.
When I started in I ended up graduating. I did 82, 83. I worked a lot, and then I didn't work. Maybe I worked a little bit in 84. I don't remember. But, I really started going back to it in 85, 86. And I could work like 3 times a night. I'd do happy hour at some shithole. I mean, everyone was having stand-up. And I got so much stage time so early.
In Boston, it was like that, but karaoke killed it because now
right.
Boston is all hospitals, Irish bars, and colleges. That's all it is. And so every Irish bar had a comedy night.
Right.
So guys couldn't take a night off. They'd get a phone call and say, "I got an audience. I got no comic. Please come in." And these guys were all doing blow at the time, and they were like, "All right, I'll come in." So they all worked every single night. I missed all that, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
I came in, during the spiral, the shame spiral but karaoke killed it, and oversaturation on TV killed it.
So all right, so you're doing stand-up. Are you fucking a lot? Like you're getting laid a lot?
I got into it kind of to chase skirt, I think, when I started.
And what is your family think of your situation at this point?
My dad was not. He's a World War II guy. He's old school. And so the first things I did were on Comedy Central and MTV and stuff that he doesn't relate to. And he'd go out with his buddies and they'd say, my son's an investment banker, my son's a lawyer, my son's a doctor. And my dad would say, my son tells jokes, I think. I don't even know what that does because I hid it from him for a while. And then when I did The Tonight Show, finally he was like, all right, maybe he's not a complete waste of sperm. Because that was something he could relate to. But before that, he didn't know
what about your siblings?
They're all... Tom, you're such a jokester.
Right.
It's that kind of thing. But they're very supportive.
Of course. Look at you.
Very cool.
So how do you meet Carrie Louise, your current wife?
We met at Nick's a couple of times, and then we got booked to do a gig up in New Hampshire.
What year is this?
I'm going to say 1994.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got the gig together in 95, I think, up in the ski country. And she had already dated some comics. And, who did she date? She dated a guy who, Wayne something.
Fetterman?
No. But he has unfortunately left the planet. I had nothing to do with it. And then I don't know, a couple other flings or whatever. Her nickname was Comic Relief. She got around. And then mine, I had a few waitresses or whatever and a couple of comics.
Oh, really? That's shocking.
But we both promised ourselves that we would divorce ourselves from the comedy world and our dating moving on.
Right.
And so she said no more comics, and I said no more comedians, waitresses, bookers, or whatever. So we get up to New Hampshire, and
Are you in a condo or
we were in a hotel at first, and it happened to be near where my dad's ski place was.
Right.
So she said, "Do you want to make this a ski trip?" And I said, "That sounds like a green light." Yes, I do. So we went and we hung out and skied together.
Was that had you made out before?
No, never.
Oh, good.
No.
Did you know? Right then, I'm going to marry this woman.
I knew that I found her insanely attractive, and that I thought she was funny, and I enjoyed her company, but I didn't know where it would go. And I knew that I was getting close to moving to New York, and I didn't know if she was.
Right.
But turns out when I said, I'm going to New York, she was like, I'm ready. And so we just said, let's do it. And
wow.
That was 96. We moved to New York.
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Kill me now.
Just kill me now.